everybody, what is going on? This is Maximus Rex from Big Baby Reviews, and today we're doing another comic haul. So that's basically where I show you the most recent acquisitions from one of my various trips to the comic book shop. In this case, I'm once again going to plug Mark at Comic Hunter here in Montreal. If you're ever in town, this is the place to go for back issues, more obscure stuff. He's got a huge inventory, dollar bins. It's a warehouse-sized kind of comic book shop, so you know if you're looking for something, there's a good chance he will have it there. So Mark at Comic Hunter is where I went for these issues here that we're going to look at today. So he does also offer new comics, modern comics as well, right? So not just the old stuff and the obscure stuff. So very few modern series catch my interest. Generally, just like when I was a kid, I follow artists. So the reason I've been following Wolverine Revenge is because of Greg Capullo's awesome art on it. I'll talk more in detail when I actually review this issue, but the colors and stuff are really good on this series. I find for modern comics, they kind of harken back to a simpler time maybe of colors. Just it's pulled back a bit, not too extreme in the kind of digital world, if I can describe it that way. Good stuff. Story's pretty interesting up to this point. Anyways, you're getting cool, like, you know, Wolverine moments you kind of want to see. So that's worked out in some unexpected stuff as well in the storyline. So I'm digging it. I'm enjoying that one, and we'll talk more about it when I review this actual issue. And also here, Spider-Man Reign 2 issue 3, just to show you a good example of how convoluted comic book titles can be, right? So there's the original series Reign, which I forget came out a while ago, actually. I'm getting old, so it was probably like 15 years ago at least. I might be wrong on that timeline, but at least that, I think. Anyways, the original Spider-Man Reign came out. It was Carrie Andrews originally producing his kind of Dark Knight version of Spider-Man, I guess. A lot of inspiration from Dark Knight, obviously, in that series. And he's kind of bringing it up a notch here. Some of those same influences, but the storyline brings these characters into the 90s through the timeline, you know, time travel. And he does adopt kind of a McFarlane-esque kind of feel to his art, which you can see a little bit here on this cover, I think. And he does it well. It's subtle, you know, it's not... If you don't know, you don't know, and that's fine. But there's a bit of a McFarlane bent in it for sure. Carrie Andrews is known for being a good chameleon and being able to synthesize other artists' style really well and recreate them to a certain extent, right? Recently he did some kind of X-Men covers as well, where it looks like some Kubert brothers art, you know, Andy and Adam Kubert, looks a lot like that. And he's a very talented guy, and I am reviewing this series here. Haven't reviewed the original, so I'll get to it once I'm done, I guess, with the sequel. And I've read all these issues at some point, and I'll be reviewing this one here pretty soon as well, the specific issue. All right, now we're going to go into like dollar bin oddities. You know, sometimes in dollar bins I do look for specific things because I think I could find some rare gems for a cheap price. This is just an oddity where sometimes I look at something and I'm like, you know what? There was always something kind of intriguing about this here. Super Soldiers issue from early 90s, Marvel UK. It was always a bit off from an off-brand, I guess, in a weird way to the regular Marvel universe. But there was always, even as a kid, there was something kind of enticing and interesting in the art here, and I like the depiction of U.S. Agent here. Like the artist, this guy knows how to draw, I think, pretty well, and definitely some sort of ripoff of Universal Soldier. And I will review this issue at some point. Just happy to say that, you know, the same artist from the cover, at least I think, because it's not signed, is the same artist who does the interiors. The style is very similar. And yeah, eventually, like I said, I will be doing a review on this issue. I don't know if there ever was an issue 2. You know, if there is, I'll find it, and I can find it, and I'll review that as well, probably. Yeah, so there you go. We'll talk more about that Universal Soldier kind of ripoff thing that's going on here when I review it. So kind of an oddity. This is another one I just kind of heard about recently. I didn't really know existed. This is Captain America: The End. Don't let the cover fool you. Not that it's bad or anything, but it's actually a complete story of Captain America. His last kind of chapter, you know, kind of a what-if story, but like they've done it for Wolverine, right? I had that miniseries. They've done it for a few characters. The Punisher as well, his was interesting as well. So Eric Larson actually writes and draws this whole issue. Always on the lookout for some cool Eric Larson stuff. So pick this one up, and we'll be reviewing that at some point soon in the future as well. A lot of stuff, probably most of these comics that I pick up will be reviewed at some point or another. And now we're getting into the actual stuff that I was looking for. So I was very disappointed from my last haul. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video. I don't think so. But I was sure I had actually pulled this issue out because you know I wasn't even sure you could find it or if it was rare or not. I'm really into martial law, and when I heard about this, I got the first issue. I found in a dollar bin somewhere, Pinhead versus Martial Law, and the art is amazing. I haven't read it yet, but it looks really cool. So I'm waiting to read both issues 1 and 2, and I will be doing a review on this for sure because it's crazy and it's insane. And if you don't know about martial law, you should. And it's a pretty fun comic, dark as well, just dark humor. So again, I thought I had picked it up last time. Got here, was kind of disappointed to find out it wasn't in my stash of comics I got. So this time I made sure to really, you know, go make a beeline, go grab it, and make sure it was in my pile this time. So eventually a review on this. Some great, like I said, Kevin O'Neill art, and looks like a pretty fun story actually. So just one issue to kind of curb my Kirby bone, if I could say that in such a weird, odd, not purposely sexual way. So I broke my own rule here because, you know, I was like, I got to come back with at least one Kirby issue, and this one was $15. So, you know, I try never to go more than 10, so 10 and lower. Reader copies sometimes got creases and stuff. So I got this one. From what I can tell, it's in pretty decent condition. It's got slightly rounded off corner, like, but for 19, you know, at this point, a 50-year-old comic. From the 1970s, it's in pretty darn good shape. So I guess, you know, I was willing to pay 15 because it's here right in front of you. So that's to fill up my 70s Kirby collection, and almost there with Mr. Miracle. The Max, impossible to find, you know, some of the issues that I'm missing from my reviews. So I just kind of broke down and said, well, if they've got some IDW issues, I'll definitely think about buying it. And they did have just the one here that was, I mean, they had more, but I already have those issues in their original kind of format. Issues, you know, past 30 of the Max are really hard to find. So, you know, for $5, I was like, all right, I'm going to go for these IDW things. Hopefully it's not too different. You know, the coloring and stuff, maybe they have new covers, I'm not quite sure. Once I open it up, and you know, this will be a surprise and a mystery to me until I review it. McFarlane. One day I'll get that right. So again, you know, I wish I could have found these a little bit cheaper, but for $10, they're in pretty darn good condition. And 10 is kind of my limit. So I was like, you know what, before they disappear, they were there the last comic haul where I picked up the cheaper McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man issues. Cheaper, some of them, because they're more reader copies, like I said, a little bit creased or whatever, but still in pretty good condition. And this one, like I said, for $10 is pretty awesome looking, from what I can tell. There's a bit of a, you know, rub on the bottom corner here, but that's about it. So issues 321, 322, and 325. This one was $5, a little bit cheaper. It's got a few creases, slightly rounded off corner. Good deal for me. And we're gonna finish off with something I'm just starting up now. So eventually, once I get past all the McFarlane stuff, past his issues on Spawn, I'll be reviewing Greg Capullo. So I will be starting, hopefully, as far back as I can in the late 80s, early 90s when he started working. So, you know, I don't know if I can ever find the issue, that original issue, his first published issue for an independent publisher. I think it's called Gore Shriek. Pretty sure that's what it's called. But, you know, the next best thing is basically Quasar, or Quasar. I'm going to go with Quasar. You tell me how I should pronounce it in the comments, or how you think it's pronounced, right? Again, I still think it's that Magneto kind of debate, but anyways. So yeah, these issues, I flipped through them a little bit before. Some great cosmic kind of designs. The thing with Capullo is, you know, he's from the very beginning, he's had pretty good, solid compositional skills. And if you look at the covers, if I go through, forget about the actual look of it and the aesthetic of it, but the composition and the look of it, you know, the solid kind of draftsmanship underneath the structure of the characters and stuff has always been solid with him. He just, you know, has gotten better at the finish on top, I guess is how I put it. If I look at these early Quasar issues, I mean, you know, I recognize stuff in this art that he does on Batman. I'm not sure, he was inked by someone else here too, so it looks a little odd, but I still see that Capullo structure underneath it. So the aesthetic on top seems to change, and I think he does on purpose. He's talked about how, you know, going from Spawn to Batman, he consciously wanted to change the style, and then since Batman, he's gone to an even maybe airier, slightly more open style, like he's doing on Wolverine right now, and he did on his kind of later DC projects. But you know, that same basic compositional skill, I think, is here right from the beginning, right? This is a parody of Demi Moore doing a cover pregnant. I forget if it was Esquire, Vogue, or Vanity Fair. Maybe Vanity Fair, something like that. But like, I still see stuff here similar to how he was drawing Bruce Wayne, let's say, in the Batman series when he worked on Batman for DC. You know, he's always had that solid base. So looking, as I said, even throughout the issues, you get that sense all throughout the artwork he's doing here. It's really good stuff. It's got kind of a cheap 90s aesthetic on top, I guess is how I'd put it, but just some great artwork. And like I said, when I start reviewing Greg Capullo, I'll be starting with these issues, and hopefully by then I'll have pretty much his whole run. I don't think there's that many issues missing right now. There's a few fill-ins, but I still need to find a few of those actual Capullo issues. And as for prices, well, here's the thing. I'm sure if I really went digging and looked in dollar bins in the States and stuff, I would find these issues probably for $1. But I just don't have that kind of time. And for the basic, you know, $4 here, $4, still cheaper than a modern comic, so I'm kind of okay with it. This one's $5. I'm sure he's up the price just because it's a reference to that famous cover. I mean, $3 right here, $3. $3 here. There's a misprint here. This is issue 34, but it was just printed as number 3. So I guess we'll talk about that more when I review it. If I find out anything about that, if anyone out there knows anything about that, let me know. And another $3. So, you know, for you American viewers, $3 Canadian is like, I don't know, 27 cents American. I'm kidding, but it's not far off. So it's in maybe like $2.20, something like that. So it's a pretty decent price for these old issues and some great Greg Capullo art. So there you have it. That's my comics haul, guys, for this week. Not that I'm going every week, but every once in a while when I do go to the comic shop and get a sizable haul, I will let you guys in on what I bought and what I purchased and what those reasons are for purchasing those comics. And of course, you know that most of it is for future reviews, because I will eventually review most of the comics that I'm really into and the ones I've read. That's generally what I go for this channel. There you have it, guys. Comics haul. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at kingcomics.ca, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.